Level 1. The Hangaround. You don't get an invitation to this life. You just show up. It's Friday night at a clubhouse somewhere on the edge of town, and the parking lot is a sea of chrome and leather. You ride in on a used Sportster, the bike you bought with 6 months of overtime pay and a lot of grit. Nobody greets you. Nobody even looks at you. To the guys in the leather vests, you're furniture. You grab a beer and you stand by the wall like you're waiting for a bus that might never come. You come back the next Friday, and the one after that. You don't ask questions, and you definitely don't talk about what you see. Then, after 3 months of being a ghost, a member named Brick finally nods at you. That nod, it means more than any handshake you've ever gotten in the normal world. You start doing the small things. You clean up after the parties. You hold someone's jacket. You stand out in the pouring rain, guarding the bikes while the members are inside staying dry. You're not in the club. You're not even close. But you're in the building, and for now, that's more than most people will ever get. Level 2, the Associate. Someone noticed you. Maybe it was Brick, or maybe it was the vice president himself. Either way, you've been bumped up. You're still not a member, and you definitely don't have a patch, but you're finally on the radar. You get invited to the rides now. Poker runs, charity events, barbecues at someone's ranch. But don't get comfortable. You ride in formation, dead last, eating the exhaust fumes from the 30 bikes in front of you. You don't complain. You just twist the throttle and keep up. You're starting to learn the culture now. You learn that the vest is sacred. You never, ever touch another man's cut. You learn that loyalty isn't just a word here. It's the air you breathe. You watch how the members move. They don't explain themselves to anyone. When they walk into a bar, the entire room shifts. People step aside, partly out of fear, but mostly because there's a gravity to them. You want that gravity. You've been hanging around for a year, maybe 2. You have no title, no vote, and no protection. But you've proven one thing: you can keep your mouth shut. And in this world, silence is the only currency that matters. Level 3. The Prospect. This is where it gets real. A full patch member sponsors you. He vouches for you in front of the entire charter. It sounds like an honor, but it's a heavy weight. If you embarrass him, that's on both of you. You get a bottom rocker on your vest with your chapter's location. That's it. No death head, no top rocker. You're half-dressed, and everyone in the room knows it. Your job now? Everything nobody else wants to do. You guard the clubhouse at 3 a.m. while everyone else sleeps. You clean bikes that aren't yours. You run errands across town at midnight because a member needs a light. You get hazed, not the college frat house stuff. This is worse. They test your patience, your temper, and your breaking point, and you take it, all of it, without a single word, because if you snap, if you swing back, or if you so much as raise your voice to a full patch, you're done, permanently. This stage lasts anywhere from 6 months to 5 years. There's no timeline. There's no progress bar. You don't get updates. You just keep showing up, keep grinding, and hope that when the vote finally comes, every single member says yes, because in this world, one no means you're out. Level 4, the Full Patch Member. You made it. Church, that's what they call the meetings, goes silent when the president announces the vote. Every hand in the room goes up. It has to be unanimous. You get the death head on your back, the top rocker that says Hell's Angels, the bottom rocker with your state. You get tattooed with the date within 9 days. This ink isn't decoration. It's a receipt. You're in for life. There's no resignation letter, no 2-week notice. Once you're patched, you're expected at every meeting, every ride, every run. You pay monthly dues. You ride at least 12,000 miles a year. Your vest never touches a jail cell floor. If you get arrested, you hand it to a brother before the cuffs go on. You now have voting rights. You have a say in club business, but you also carry the weight. If the club goes to war, you ride. If a brother needs bail money at 4 a.m., you answer the phone. The patch gives you respect in every room you walk into. It also puts a target on your back for every cop, every federal agent, and every rival who wants to prove something. You're not just a man anymore. You're part of the machine. Level 5, the Road Captain. You've been patched for a few years now. You know every back road, every shortcut, and every speed trap in 3 states. The chapter trusts your judgment on the highway, and now, the safety of the pack is in your hands. You plan the rides, you map the routes, you coordinate fuel stops and accommodations for 30, 40, maybe 50 bikes. It sounds like simple logistics, but moving a small army on 2 wheels through unfamiliar territory is a high-stakes game. If there's trouble on the road, a breakdown, a police blockade, or a rival crew rolling up, you handle it. You're the one who notices when the formation breaks or when a prospect starts to drift. Discipline on the road is your responsibility. You keep the machine tight. You keep people alive. It's not a glamorous job, but it's essential. And in this club, the members who underestimate the road captain usually don't last long enough to see the next rank. Level 6, the Sergeant at Arms. You are the enforcer, the club's one-man justice system. Your job isn't to be liked, it's to be feared and respected. You keep order during church, and you maintain discipline across the entire chapter. If a member breaks a rule, misses a meeting, or runs his mouth to outsiders, you handle it. Sometimes that's a conversation. Sometimes it's not a conversation. You are the president's right hand when it comes to security. You sweep the clubhouse for bugs. You vet the new hangarounds to make sure they aren't wearing a wire. When the club rides, you watch the flanks. When the club meets, you watch the door. If a rival organization pushes into your territory, tagging your town or disrespecting your patch, you're the first one to respond. You don't wait for a committee vote. You act. This is the only position that can, in certain situations, override even the president, because when it comes to the safety of the club, your word is law. You sleep light, you trust your instincts more than your friends, and you carry the kind of weight that ages you faster than the road ever could. Level 7, the vice president. The president is the face of the club, but you're the engine. You run the day-to-day operations of the chapter. While the brothers are out riding, you're in the thick of the logistics, settling disputes and handling the communications that keep the club from stalling out. When the president is unavailable, whether he's traveling, laying low, or locked up, you step in with full authority. You attend regional meetings, sitting across from VPs of other charters. You negotiate territory, coordinate massive runs, and resolve conflicts before they turn into wars. You're the one who sees the politics nobody else does. You know who's angling for power, who's skimming off the top, and who's talking to people they shouldn't be. You're not just managing motorcycles anymore. You're managing personalities. Half your job is keeping ambitious men from destroying the chapter from the inside. It's a delicate balance of diplomacy and iron-fisted control. You're the second in command, but in many ways, you carry the heaviest load of all. Level 8, the chapter president. You run the charter. Every decision, every vote, and every direction the chapter takes goes through you. You chair church. You are the face of the club to the outside world. Whether that's dealing with other organizations, the community, or talking to the club's lawyer when things get heaty. You don't vote unless there's a tie. You lead by influence, not by force. You leave the force to the sergeant at arms. You're the strategist. You decide when it's time to expand, when to form an alliance, and when it's time to go to war. You sit at tables where a handshake seals a deal worth more than any written contract. You attend the regional officer meetings where the policy for dozens of chapters is decided. But there's a price for the power. You are the biggest target in the room. If the feds are watching your chapter, your photo is at the very top of their board. You ride at the front of every formation, carrying yourself like a man who's earned every mile. But you also know the truth. The seat you're sitting in has ended careers, ended freedom, and ended lives. There is no retirement plan. There is no golden parachute. There's just the patch, the road, and the heavy crown of the brotherhood. Level 9, the legacy. Eventually, the road ends. Maybe it was a RICO indictment that took down the whole charter. Maybe it was an undercover agent who spent 3 years pretending to be your brother. Or maybe it was a rival who decided your territory was worth more than your life. Either way, you're done. You're sitting in a federal courtroom or you're in the ground. Your vest, the cut you bled for, gets returned to the club. Your tattoos, those stay. If you're alive and behind bars, you do your time. You don't cooperate. You don't name names. You keep your mouth shut because even in a cell, you're still patched. And in this world, snitches don't survive. But here's the thing. The chapter doesn't fold when you go down. Someone steps into your seat before it's even cold. A new vice president becomes president. A new prospect earns his patch. The bikes still ride. The Friday nights still happen. The formation holds. You aren't a leader anymore. Now, you're a story. You're the legend they tell hangarounds to remind them what the life costs. This is the Hells Angels. Not a gang, a brotherhood. A machine that's been running since 1948. And somewhere tonight, in a parking lot outside a clubhouse, there's a guy on a used Harley standing by the wall, holding a beer, waiting for someone to nod.